Has the British Army gone completely soft? Have they taken it too far? We're going to be discussing this in today's video, team. But before we get into it, please make sure you like, share and subscribe. And if you want to continue to support the channel in other ways, you can become a channel member, join the free Discord, join the Patreon, check out our merch and our coffee blends over on our website in the description. But we're talking about the Soldier Academy today, and has it gone completely soft? Are they just taking it too far now, that our soldiers, our recruits are not going to be able to handle sort of pressure, high stressful situations, people telling them what to do? For those that are looking to go through the Soldier Academy now, majority of trades you're going to go through Purbright or as a junior soldier at Harrogate. Infanteers are still at Catterick, and now the Royal Armoured Corps and the HCAV go through Catterick and do their 13 weeks up there. When I went through British military training, it was tough. It was hard. From day one, week one, it was really hard. But it turned me into the person I am today, and it does for everyone. People in the 60s, 70s, 80s and 90s had it even tougher. When I was a section commander in 2015 to 2017, it had already gone quite chilled, quite soft. But you still had that sort of pressure from day one, week one. They were put under a lot. But from what the sounds of it, I'm speaking to someone who's currently going through training, a friend of mine. It seems pretty chilled. In his words, basic training isn't what I thought it was. It's quite chilled and relaxed. It's just quite hard adapting to military life. So please comment below with what your thoughts are on this video and this topic. I'd be really interested to know what you are thinking. Done a previous video on the Soldier Academy before that it was being introduced, and another video that you can't, scream and shout in military training. No, you don't want to shout at recruits all the time. I think it's pretty pointless. Americans have their way. I've had a few comments from the Swedish saying they don't shout. Yeah, maybe they have their way, but I feel like sometimes you just need to be told. I've been out of the army 2 years, and in the last few years, I really noticed the difference. Recruits were coming out of phase 1, phase 2, and they were entering the regiment, and they just had no discipline. They had no respect for the senior ranks or even the junior ranks. You try to tell them to do something, they say no. We had soldiers just turning up to regiment, walking into sergeant major's offices, not marching, not halting, not slamming their feet in, just sitting down, relaxed, not sitting properly, and not paying respect to the senior ranks. So the discipline there had already started to go. And now training has gotten more easier. It's got easier, a lot more chilled. Is that going to get worse? Are we really going to have a chain of command issue throughout the whole entire British Army? I think we are. He's currently, like I said, doing the Soldier Academy. He's doing his 13 weeks. And week 1, introduction to lessons, PowerPoint, DLE quizzes, getting your military kit at the end of the week. No physical training at all. Week 2 is sort of intro to PT. You do skill at arms all in week 1 with a test at the end, which doesn't seem long enough to cram skill at arms in and get muscle memory. And then as he puts it, his words were, week 2, really chill locker and block inspections. I've never known really a room or locker inspection to be really chilled, and it shouldn't be. You should know you've sort of fucked up with the room inspection. They should be digging those lockers out, finding everything wrong with them to really hone their skills on just becoming sort of a perfectionist, making sure things are right, making sure everything's the same, knowing that they have fucked up a little. If you just walk in and go, you could do a little, it doesn't really go in. You don't have to be 100% aggressive, but we're trying to make tough soldiers. We're trying to break them down, these civilians, and turning them to who we really want to be for when we go on operations, okay? The army is a completely different life. It's not like school. It's not like a 9 to 5 job. You're going into really dangerous and extreme situations where you need to be able to react in high pressure, high stressful environments. And that's one of the best things that the army gives you, is being able to do that, and you can take on into civilian life whenever you decide to leave. So his words were, basic training is not what I thought it to be. So yeah, week 1's that. Week 2, skill at arms, intro to PT, and then a skill at arms test and sort of chilled room locker layouts and room inspections. I don't think a week is enough for skill at arms either. As what he said, and this is what I thought would happen, is because they only extended it to 13 weeks, is they're trying to make it more chilled. Okay, they want to increase the pressure gradually. Okay. But you need to extend how long it is, because his words were, it's pretty chilled so far. but they're still trying to cram all the information in because they've gone into week 3. They've gone onto the ranges, and there's already a few soldiers that have been backclassed because they weren't safe on weapon handling. So instead of having the time to do skill at arms and then go on the ranges and having to tweak a few things like we used to, they're just going, yeah, you're not good enough, we're just going to backclass you, which is actually worse than putting a little bit more pressure on them, spending a little bit more time with them instead of just trying to cram all that into week 1. Week 3 is you get your weapons to go on the ranges. RAC get A2, Infanteers get the A3. And then they go and do adventure training in week 4. I think that's just too soon in. You're trying to adapt to army life. Week 1's very chilled. You don't really do anything. It's just like being at school. Week 2, you just do skill at arms and a few chill PT lessons and locker layouts. Then you go on the ranges week 3. You're sort of adapting into being told what to do, increasing that discipline, self-discipline. And then you go away for AT for a week and it just relaxes right down again. You go and do cave-in. AT should be towards the end of basic training. Why it's week 4, I do not know. My personal opinion. If you think that's a good idea, then that's for you. But then guess what they get as well? At the end of week 4, they get a long weekend. So pretty much everything that's sort of been drilled into them, not so drilled into because it's so easy. They then go on a long weekend, go home, think this is really easy, and then come back and sort of have to jump back into it again. I think they really have just gone too far this end. He's still going through training, so as I get more information, I'll sort of pass it out to you. But that's where he's sort of currently at. I remember just like the first few weeks of training when I went through Harrogate, just like, wow, like, fucking hell, what has just happened? It's just hit me. They were like on you. Boom, 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 boom. Like first night in my phase 1 training, we had a section get absolutely annihilated and beasted, which I'm not saying they should have. The second day, the whole platoon got annihilated and beasted, and then it was just go steep learning curve. But then, like I said, by the time it come to week 6 and I got issued my cat badge and we did our parade and then we went home for a week, I'd already changed so much. I'd already become from a 16-year-old boy to a man just in that 6 weeks, because it was literally from pretty much a few days in, bit of PT, locker layouts. They were rigid with the locker layouts. You knew if you messed up, the next day you really didn't want to fuck up because you knew that you'd fucked up the day before. As now, because it's so chilled, they're most probably not going to react like that. Yeah, it's just, I think it's just mind-boggling how they're just trying to treat it like you're at school. When that's, you know, these guys are going to be on ops one day. We are in a pre-war era. Pre-war, right? Something is going to happen. Look what is going on in the world. Russia, Ukraine, in the Middle East. Threats all around the world that are just constantly popping up. We are in a pre-war era. And we want tough guys and girls to be able to handle tough situations. We don't want people being like, oh, don't speak to me like that. Oh, they didn't do that to me in training when you get to become a regular soldier of phase 3 training. I think it's just absolutely crazy that we've just gone completely. And I think these people who have done these videos talking about the Soldier Academy, yeah, I think it's a good idea. We're easing them in now. We're easing the recruits in. I think they are literally being told what to say. I'm not saying we need to scream, shout, hit, bully, humiliate people. But I'm saying we need to be tough, we need to be hard, and we need to put these guys and girls under pressure and show them what it's actually like. Because trust me, on operations, even on exercises, it's tough. When you're out there and you're doing some form of attack and your section commander, vehicle commander, platoon commander, whatever it is like, get the fuck over there, right? I need you to attack that position hard, fast, and aggressive. And you're just like, oh, it's too hard, I'm tired. Like, please, can I just rest? Or just simple things when they're in camp and they're being given jobs, or they're going, right, go and see the sergeant major or the corporal major for the HCAV. Right, and they're not slamming their feet in, they're just sitting on. I remember speaking to a guy, he was struggling. Me and my mate went to speak to him and he was just slouched in his chair. I was a full screw, he was a free bar sergeant, and he was just slouched in his chair, just not even looking at us, just talking away as if it was his mates back at home and they were smoking a bit of weed. Right, just sit up straight and just talk to us, give us a bit of eye contact, right, and have a bit of confidence. And this is going throughout the army and throughout the military, and it all starts with basic training, Soldier Academy. This is why I'm doing these videos. This is why I'm quite hot on it, that we need to install that discipline, because if you don't install it in basic training, I promise you now, you can't install it in the regular army. It's not going to happen. It has to start in basic training, and that's why we break them down. I'm not saying beat them or bully them. We break these recruits down and you build them back up into the soldier that you want to be. So when you leave, you have this brilliant soldier, this person who wants to learn, who can take commands, he can react to any sort of a situation and be adaptable because he's been through it in basic training and in phase 2 training. So when he hits the ground running in regular army, because they will, when I joined and my mates joined and we come out of phase 1, I had come out of phase 2, I had mates that were deployed like 3 to 6 months later in Afghanistan. It wasn't like it is now where there's not really ops going on and you're spending years in regiment before you go. They were literally out and on ops in PDT, pre-deployment training, and they were on ops. Like, that's how it could get if we get to sort of another sort of Afghanistan or whatever kicking off again. You're going to be straight out of training into it. So you need to be molded and built and ready to go for that. And we are not going to have that. And it's quite sad to see and hear that we are just destroying the military and the army because of it is numbers. They don't want to lose recruits who can't handle it. It's not for everyone. Right, but they want to keep people because the recruitment numbers are low. It's a vicious cycle. Recruitment numbers are low. Capita ain't doing the job. So we're not getting them through the door. So the ones we get through the door, we want to keep. So they're trying to keep them, and you're keeping ones that the army is just not for. Sometimes you just have to say, this person is not suitable. If you go to a high-end job, we'll talk about Elon Musk here, just a tech company, you go for an interview, you ain't suitable, you're not getting hired, or you're not doing your job, you're getting fired. And it happens a lot in civilian street, people get fired. But in the army, because they're so low on numbers, they're just keeping them. So we're just keeping soldiers who can't do it. And that's where I think we are. At the minute, from recruits' words, Soldier Academy is nice and chilled. The British Army is not what I thought it was. So that's where we're currently at. I will continue to update as I get more information. I hope that the seniors and people start to see this and they sort of change it, because once you go too far, you can't go back. Like I said, I'm not asking for like it used to be. We don't want bullying. We don't want sexual comments. We don't want racism. We don't want to scream and shout all the time. But we need to let them know who's the boss and how we want them to be. And ultimately, we want adaptable, fast-thinking soldiers who can react to really stressful environments and high-pressure situations, who can communicate confidently up and down the ranks. Like, talk to all ranks in a respectful manner, get your point across and tell them what you want. But that isn't going to happen. And I think we're really going to struggle over the next coming years and into the future. But please let us know what your thoughts are. I'd be very, very interested to know. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.